All right, surprise, surprise, the law's not being respected. At least 15 Trump officials do not hold their positions lawfully, including the head of the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, so basically what's going on here is what's supposed to happen is that the president nominates people for a certain position, and then that position goes before the Senate, and the Senate votes. Well, for a number of reasons, that's not happening. One of them is that really most of these people shouldn't be in there. So it's kind of unpopular, and people don't want to be on record as having voted for these ridiculous people to be in charge of the department that they're in. For instance, we saw people put in charge of the Department of Energy who previously had said the Department of Energy should not exist. We saw Betsy DeVos put in charge of education, the Department of Education, who pretty much wants to destroy education, unless you're rich, right? If you're a rich person, it's going to work out fine. But for everyone else, we won't have a school system, at least not one that functions. Okay, we've seen this again and again and again. We just saw Trump put a climate denier in charge of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric, I forget what the last A is for, but in charge of that group, which, by the way, NOAA, the group that does our atmosphere and oceanic stuff, amazing. If you look into the science that they have advanced in the last 15 years, mind-blowing the way we can predict storms compared to what we used to be able to predict, the kind of things when they're coming in towards Florida, and we can predict where they land and what they're going to be. It wasn't like that 10, 15 years ago. This department is doing amazing science. So what do? We put a climate denier in charge of the whole thing. Okay, so again and again and again, we're putting people in charge of departments who actually want to destroy that department. Well, that's going to be a hard vote if you're a senator. So if you're Mitch McConnell, you simply don't hold the vote. You just let Trump assign an interim individual to run that department, and then they just run it forever. Except it's illegal. You're not supposed to do that. Okay, so there's a rule, the FVRA. It's called the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. It was passed in 1998 in response to the executive branch's failure to comply with federal law and its evasion of the Appointments Clause. So basically what it says is you have 210 days from the beginning of the date the vacancy occurs, not from when your person gets in place. From the beginning of the vacancy occurring, you have 200 days to get a legitimate person in there who has gone through the full process. You can put someone in there temporarily as an interim leader of that department, but what you cannot do is appoint someone in there and leave it there forever. This is part of our checks and balance because the Senate is supposed to be balancing all these ridiculous people that Trump is putting in place. But if they don't have to do that, it gives cover to the senators. Look at the people in the Senate. What have they voted on? When people come up for re-election, what do we have to hold them accountable for? They voted on from some judges? No one cares about voting for judges unless it's a Supreme Court judge, then maybe. Okay, what we need is for our senators to vote. We need that when they come up for election, we have a whole list that we can look at of saying, look what this person voted for and look what they voted against. We literally have a portion of Congress, right? The Senate. The whole reason we elect them is to vote on things, and yet they try as hard as they can to do the opposite and not actually vote on anything. Because once they vote, we can hold them accountable for that vote. But if they just kind of hang out for a few years, then it's pretty hard to nail them down and say, why did you vote this way? Why did you vote on this? Doesn't happen. And it looks like 15 individuals that Trump has appointed fall into this category of being there illegally. They are interim people that just have become permanent. That's not allowed. That's not how this is supposed to work. Okay, so we see it again and again and again. There is a takeover of our government by people who do not respect our laws and regulations to destroy that very government, which only makes it harder to hold people accountable. So look, things are going to get bad. We need to, even small things like this. I mean, we're not talking about individuals in small positions here. We are talking about one of the people included in this is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf, who, by the way, we've seen say some pretty horrible things in the last couple of months. He's not even supposed to be there. But he's a Trump lackey. He's going to do whatever Trump tells him to do. And they've all agreed. The Senate, McConnell, Trump, and Chad Wolf, they all have this agreement. All right, well, there's a rule in place, but if we all just agree to break it, and who's going to stop us? And that's a question we need to start thinking about. Who's going to stop them? Who is going to stop them? All right, thanks for checking out the video. Head over to Twitch. We're having awesome conversations over there while we stream some live news. Have some laughs, have a good time, have some insightful conversations, meaningful disagreements that actually lead us to a better place. It's great. So come on over, check it out. Link in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you next time we check out a video. Thanks, everybody.